I was cleaning the room and accidentally bumped into the window. With a loud crash, the row of stones I had placed in front of the window fell. I'm glad it didn't break. I collect the stones. Not as many as the number of countries I've traveled to. But I have a place in my living room for stones from foreign countries. I've gotten into the habit of picking up stones whenever I stay in a place that I feel is special to me on my travels. It's a way of collecting and remembering the places I've been, like a stamp in a passport. What are all these stones? They're not pretty. Where are you picking them up? I have stones on my desk, in my bedroom, on my dresser, in my kitchen, in my pots. Stones are travel time and memories for me. Stones of the Alaska Glacier. I was sipping wine on the Alaska Glacier train from Anchorage, looking at the white ice cap under a blue sky. Even though I felt I had seen it all, I wanted to go back to Alaska. After visiting one place 5 times, the Alaskan wilderness became as familiar as Mount Bugoksan. I went back to Anchorage to take a glacier cruise. As soon as I got off the train at the local station, I picked up a brochure about glacier hiking at the information center. Glacier hiking in the summer? I remembered the exhilaration of hiking along a glacial valley in the white of winter, when the world was white. I was curious about hiking in the summer when it was so green. Global warming is rapidly melting glaciers and changing the landscape. I used to be able to walk close to the glaciers, but now you have to go deep into the mountains to hike on glaciers. Even as nature itself pushes and carves away the terrain to make it inaccessible, people keep coming back for more. After about an hour on the trail, I came to a sign that said, "No more." There's a long line of no-go signs and a photo zone sign in front of it. That's where you're supposed to look at the white and blue glacier. If an ice cap is just a white surface of snow, a glacier is a solid mass of light blue. A long time ago, most of the area I'm standing in was covered by glaciers. But with the rapid rate of melting each year, they can only be seen from this distance. The tours that go in there have to be with a professional guide, fully clothed and safe. We're done here. I had a premonition that the Alaskan glacier I saw from that viewpoint would be my last. I thought to myself, after today, there will be no more Alaska. Alaska after today, what will I remember this moment for? I thought, as I walked back down the hill. I don't have the photographic skills to capture this feeling. I can't capture the white Alaskan snow, and I can't break off a piece of glacier to take with me. Then I remembered the stones. I could see the valley in the distance. The water from the glaciers, combined with yesterday's rain, had left the fine, carved and polished stones glistening in the sunlight. I walked into the valley and sat down for a moment. I could feel the warmth of the sun on the cold stone. The stones in this valley now contain the energy of nature. Having spent many seasons in one place, in the summer they must have been companions to the melting glaciers. And in the winter they must have been family to the white snow. Today I take the stones that have been here all these years. As I searched the ground for meaning, there were many stones I wanted to take with me. Considering the weight of my pack, it was better to take several small stones than one large one. As I placed the stones in my bag, I stored the sound of the running water and wind in my memory bank. At this moment, the sound of the water, the birds, and the wind is the daily chorus of nature in this valley. I find myself humming the song. It is not the photographs that will remind me of this moment of unity between me and nature, but the stone that I carry in my heart. Stones come in all shapes and sizes. Look for pretty stones whenever possible, but the first feeling you get when you hold them in your hand is more important than the shape. I started collecting rocks in the Canadian Rockies. Red Rock, Colorado, Grand Canyon, Arches and Bryce Canyon. I believe each stone has its own energy. I don't put a price on the stones I find along the way, but the ones I pick up have value. The energy of the stones and I resonate together. I can feel the time of the stone in each place, its deep age, in the waves. That's why I fill the places where I leave my clothes and shoes with stones. Stones of Ladakh, the northernmost part of the Himalayas. If I met the Ganges in India in my 30s, I met the Indus in my 40s. In September 2019, I returned to India for the first time in 18 years. The destination, the Himalayas. I was eager to dip my toes into the Indus River in northern India. The Indus, which rises from Mount Sumasan, Mount Kailash in Tibet, is where the world's 4 great civilizations began, and is the most sacred river in Tibetan Buddhism. Do you have time on your itinerary to swim in the Indus River? The water is cold. Do you want to swim? No, I just want to get my feet wet. We pass the Indus River several times on our itinerary, but we don't have time to go down to the river. We're in Ladakh, a high-altitude region, and rafting is only available until August. I just need to get my feet in the river. The young man, who spent 7 years as a monk in a Tibetan Buddhist monastery, and now works as a French and English guide, laughs. The bus, which has been traveling all morning from Leh, a town in the Ladakh region, shows me sheer cliffs to the left and right and several rivers flowing lazily by. It makes sense to look down at the Indus, the guide says, but it doesn't make sense to stop and walk down. That's the Indus. How are you going to get down there? And even if you do, you'll have to give up the whole afternoon to get back up. I can't reschedule the trip the way I'd like to because there are other people in the group. I'm disappointed, so I just photograph the cloudy river in the distance. The people of Ladakh consider the Indus more holy than the Ganges. The difference between Buddhism and Hinduism is as much about the rivers as it is about the gods. The rivers are as different as the religions. Buddhist culture has flourished in Ladakh since the dawn of ancient civilization. Thousands of years ago. This is because of the Indus River. The car rattles along the dirt road and I'm not at all tired. After driving for a while without a restroom, we stop in a small mountain village. Where we're going now is a temple so important that the Dalai Lama visits it when he comes to Ladakh. And it's a must-see holy place for Tibetan Buddhists. As we walk down a narrow lane, a black rocky mountain looms in front of us. Do you think the water flowing down that mountain is the Indus River? Yes, that's right. While Hindus in India perform their religious rituals near the Ganges, the people of Ladakh, home of Tibetan Buddhism, have built temples and practiced their religion along the Indus. After a narrated tour of the historic temple, I walked down to the river at a brisk pace. Autumn in the Himalayas. Even though it was September, the water was cold enough to make it difficult to stand with my feet in it for more than 3 minutes. I thought, maybe it's not that the water is cold here, but that my body's energy isn't circulating well. I often get sick because the heat in my body can't get out. And now my feet are suffering in the river. I thought that if I endured this holy water, my body would heal and improve. I dipped my feet in the cold water and raised my hands to the sky, just like the gurus along the Ganges in Varanasi. Soon my group followed suit and descended into the river. I pulled on my shoes and began walking along the riverbank, picking up stones. The Indus was littered with stones as different as time. There was nothing to throw away. If I took them all, they might get caught by Indian customs. Where did these stones come from? There are so many stones, so many different shapes. I don't know what they belong to anymore. I should have made a note of it, or made my own provenance marker. But it's too late. What do I want to remember when I pick up a stone? What meaning do I want it to have for me? If there's no sign saying no, I take it. To me, stones are gifts from the earth, traces of journeys. I protect these stones as if they had traveled through the galaxies of the universe and flown into my space. I have cleaned up and dropped some of the planets. I am thankful that they were not destroyed. I don't know how many more stones I will bring in my suitcase in the future. For me, stones are not just stones. They are symbols of memories, crystallizations of memories that I love. They make me travel again and make me smile. I keep them by my bedside and fall asleep with them in my hands. Then there are the stones that make me hear the waves on the beach, or feel the coolness of the water in the valley. Every stone in the world is big and beautiful, and so I look at stones carved by glaciers in Alaska, sacred stones carved by the Indus River, bounced off the wilderness of the Rockies, picked up from a glacial island in Iceland, basalt washed up on a Hawaiian beach, or split from the red rocks of Sedona. They are small traces left on this planet, but they hold cosmic significance and share energy with me. Even today I am a stone thief, picking up stones along the way. Thank you for listening THory's travel stories.